Are you ready for Nexxlegacy?
Are you ready for Nexxlegacy?
Are you ready for Nexxlegacy?
Well, let's begin, my good people. Welcome to Nexxlegacy Podcast.
And we're here. What's happening, people? Good evening. Welcome, world. This is Nexxlegacy Radio. I am Branded in the building. Once again, got to shout out all the people out there that's listening and who will be listening via podcast a little later on this evening. Shout out to all my people out there in states, the obvious cast of characters of fan base listeners throughout the globe. From Canada, Germany, shout out to my Australian fan base out there. That's dope. I got a guest who's not really my guest. She's family. She's been, ever since, we go back years, the 5-footer interviews that I've had across the globe over the years. I mean, we going back maybe 2011, 2012, stuff like that. And I have my girl here, and I've been wanting to interview her for a minute because, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in this world today that I feel like we should definitely put out there in the universe. Positive vibe, well wishes, all that good stuff. But also, we need to make sure we holler at each other about some things and stuff like that too, because everything is chaotic. Everything is in a flux state. But you know what I'm saying, when it comes to that, I mean, there's still stuff, artistry, things like that has to be put out there. And I'm glad I got my girl here to kind of talk about it and to steer us in the right direction as far as, some of that stuff. And you can follow her on Instagram at @1 IAm MIE, MIE. And I got my girl in the building on Nexxlegacy Radio. It's been a minute, and we live with a lot of people listening. What's up, girl?
Hey, what's up? Thank you for having me. It's been a while. Definitely excited about this today. So, I'm just chilling at the crib, but time flies fast. That's for sure.
It does. It flies fast. It's, during that span of time over the years that we've either, conversed, interviewed, talked to, all that good stuff. I mean, there's a lot of, life stuff going on or whatnot, but, it's good to have you here. It's good to have you here with a lot of people here that's listening, people in chat rooms right now throughout the globe, and they do remember you from, I don't want to say old days, because I feel like, you go back for 4 or 5 years, it's not really old to me, but, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's
exactly.
good to, a lot of people remember the music, a lot of people want to know what's good with you, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I remember her, I remember blah, 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 right? So it's good to have you here. So first off, how you doing?
You know what? I'm doing pretty good. I just lost my nephew a month ago, so I've been dealing with my nephew. He was only 18. His name is Zaywo. He has a lot of fans on social media. He's very popular, and he was a victim of gun violence. So, that really affected me deeply, and it definitely has changed my life, him not being here anymore and just the way that it went down. So, yeah, I know this, during this pandemic, it's like violence went up, and we're seeing an increase in it. And a lot of young black males are being victims of gun violence, and it's just terrible, and it needs to stop. And so it's just been put on my heart to definitely be an advocate in our community to bring more awareness about the destruction of our young black youth, and we got to stop it. We got to stop it because we're already at war with the world. The world already doesn't like us, and so then we're going to just take each other out, and it just doesn't make sense.
And
so,
I know your nephew, J-Wo, means a lot, and will always
J-Wo.
mean a lot to you and for the J-Wo. And for the people out there who haven't known him or who will be Google searching him, tell the listeners and tell the people a little bit about him and his movement and what he was doing prior to him passing away. Because I want a lot of people out there that's listening to listen to this young lady, search that man, and just, pay attention to exactly what she's saying and honor, all these people, not just in passing, but just in life in general. So tell the listeners out there who didn't know him a little bit about him and how he got down with not just TikTok, but his following, because it grew a lot.
Oh, yeah, definitely, exponentially. His name is Zaywo, actually, with a Z. Zaywoha. So you can go on his IG and, send some love. Pretty much he was a dancer. That's how he got popular. He was very athletic. He played basketball. He was definitely a comedian. He did a lot of skits, and he would edit them, and he would create them. He started rapping, so he started doing music, and I'm just now recently hearing a lot of his music. He had a lot going for him. He had a bright future. He's very popular with the children. His followers are he has 200, the last time I looked, 280-something thousand followers. At one point he had 1 million, but they deleted his account. But he was just a genius when it came to computers and knowing how to promote himself and knowing how to monetize the social media. He was definitely a good kid. And, jealousy is a green-eyed monster. When you start getting popular and, you're going to have jealous people, and it's unfortunate when people are that young that a social media beef can turn into a real-life situation where, someone's not here anymore. And it's really, really heartbreaking because his mother is actually in prison, and I had to tell his mother the news while she was in prison, and that's just one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life, So his cousins, the Glow Twins, they're very popular. They had a lot of plans to do a lot of things together, and his goal was to be able to travel the world and meet and greet with his fans and, just be able to make people smile. He loved making people smile, and he loved making people happy. And he was just amazing. He just always would keep you laughing. He was a gamer. He was really good with video games, and he was lit, you know what I'm saying? And just, he's dearly missed by so many people around the world.
Amen to that. I want people out there to go search his name, Zaywoh. IAm MIE is in the house on Nexxlegacy Radio, and just from your Instagram post alone, and just kind of I remember when you flooded the information as far as everything that went down with him, and I started looking, and I'm like, man, it's hard and I know it's hard on you, and my condolences with you and the rest of the family and all his followers and friends. And when you talk about just young men, young black men, men in general, just dying by the hands of gun violence and stuff like that, and you've seen it, and we've heard about it, and it's been part of our lives. Doesn't matter if you're in the inner city or not. It's public knowledge. So when you hear stuff like that, and you hear about just a lot of our brothers and sisters just gone by guns, not just at the hands of police, but just in general of people that's haters or envious and stuff like that. Like, what can you tell these people as far as just spread more awareness to let people know, there's got to be other ways than the ways of this.
Exactly. I think a lot of times, young people think, oh, this is how I'm gonna get on if I kill somebody, or they think it's glorified so much to the point that these young people actually think that that's the way to live, and it's not. You know, when you take somebody's life, you're really hurting a whole family. You're not just hurting one person. It's a trickle-down effect. And you're ruining your life as well. So the first thing that people want to do is grab a gun. That's crazy to me. It's like you're taking a temporary problem and making a permanent solution. If you don't like somebody, leave them alone. You ain't got to deal with them. Just keep it moving. You know, I don't understand why the first thing is I want to go grab my gun and take somebody's life. Like,
right.
Okay, you did that. Now what? You feel better? Or, you know, you feel like you got some stripes now? Like, no. Like, you probably going to, most likely, hopefully you going to jail. Because we don't need you in the community running around to hurt somebody else's family. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if it's not, you know, if somebody is trying to harm you or your family, that's something different. But an argument, you know, over a girl or, and I'm not saying that that's why this happened, but I'm just saying in general, like, a lot of stuff is so stupid. Oh, they said this. Oh, they said this about me. Or they, you know, and it's just like, really? Over some words? Everybody is so emotional, but everybody is such a thug. I'm confused.
Right. Right.
You know,
and I think I think a lot of us at the end of the day, to me, you know, I feel like in life, if you navigate through it, and what you said is so on point, because your life is over. You in that life of that man, your life is now over. You're going to be on the run. You get caught. You go to jail. You're done for the rest of your life. Either way it goes, no matter how you put it, you're done for the rest of your life. So, you know, you know, there's so many people, they get pissed off. They get angry. You know what I'm saying? They run into different scenarios where, you know what, you could walk away. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? Somebody cuts you off in traffic, just using it as an example. You don't need to go fire a gun and go shoot that man because he cut you off in traffic, because if you do, there's so many people out there whose lives are gone just based on that one quick moment of insanity. And that's why it's important for people to understand that when it's all said and done, you know, you got to really, truly think about how your life is going to look like if you decide to go to that dark side. You know what I'm saying? And that's why mental health is hella important in different communities, right?
It truly is. And, you know, to make a split-second decision like that alters, like I said, not only the person that you murdered, you know, you're not just only altering their reality, you're altering a whole family's reality, you know, and it's not okay. And I hate to say it, you know, but honestly, like, a lot of this music and a lot of the images that we see on TV are actually perpetuating the violence that we see spill into our streets because it's glorified so much. So when people see their favorite rappers and their favorite, you know, movies, actors or whatever, acting out the stuff, people start acting that out in real life because people are like, oh, well, this is what's getting attention. Oh, well, if I do this, this is what's making people popular. So the people that they see that are popular and on TV and making money, they're like, well, hey, that's how they living, so I'm going to do it too. Or, okay, that's how I'm going to get on by catching bodies. It's like, that is sick. It is a sick mentality. It's definitely dysfunctional, and we really need to fight more against it, because now these young people are trying to portray these images that they're seeing, and they're dying every day. And as artists want to be like, oh, well, it ain't my fault. No, it takes a village. People need to know, because they glorify that. They look up to you. They look up to certain people, and those people become role models. But those people have security outside of their house 24 hours, and those people don't live in the communities that their fans live in. So they have protection. It's kind of harder to get to them to do something to them. And I mean, even with the ones who do have that, you still see things happening, like Nipsey, Pop Smoke. You know what I mean? Biggie, Pop, just feeling like all these men dying from gun violence. I was driving down the street the other day, and I was like, oh, my God. Like, just look at it. Like, this ain't just happening to me. This is happening to a mother right now, or a father right now, and a family right now. It's so sad, but it's just the reality of the world that we're living in. Like, why is everybody so angry? Why is everybody so evil? Like, and why do we hate each other so much when we're all being oppressed?
Yep. That's the thing that I'm always shocked by when I take a look outside, because I mean, you look outside the window, you see all this stuff going on in our neighborhoods today. Like, it's a recycled. You wrote off names like Nipsey, Pop Smoke, Tupac, Biggie. You know what I'm saying? We go on and on. Jam Master Jay. You can go on and on and on. You could take pieces of every single. Go ahead, honey.
No, I'm just saying it's so many. I mean, it's just so many of our black men being shot down, and I'm like, no, like, this can't be the answer. Like, no, it has to stop. Like, how do you hate somebody so much that you like, I don't want them to exist no more? That's just pure evil. No, it's no justification for it.
You could take pieces of every single. You can go back from 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. Now we're in the new decade, 2020. I mean, you can go on and on and on and on and on. You can take pieces of every single hood story everywhere, and you could always hear about something going on in some neighborhood that has something to do with a black man dying unnecessarily. You know what I mean? And it's sad to see, and it's not only sad to see, it's sad to hear, and not only is it sad to hear, what can be done about it. That's, to me, that's why I feel like having the awareness and spreading the awareness is hella important. And not only is it important, you know how in life, and I'm not trying to be hella deep tonight on Nexxlegacy, but you know how in life you can go back, and I feel like personally, like, you know, you go back to the roots of, 400 years and beyond that, and we kind of decompress how, how blacks were treated and all that stuff, and we thought at the end of the day, if we get a little piece of happiness, we could be able to shine and be able to radiate that with others. But at the same time, being decompressed is still, everything else is still going on and around you, and we're forgetting sometimes how deep it is and how bad it could be when you have certain situations that do remind us, like this situation and others, Breonna Taylor, et cetera, you know what I mean? And it's hard, like, it's a hard truth that people got to realize and understand that as, black men and women, we gotta spread awareness, and we gotta do more than what we're doing now. If we don't, our next generation is gonna suffer if they haven't already. You know what I mean?
Oh, most definitely. And we really have to learn. Like, it's not just a cliche or something that you say. No, we really do need to stick together. This is the time. There is so much going on that it is just chaos in the world. And if we don't learn to stick together and truly love each other and stop taking each other's lives and stop, just stop the madness, just period. Like, it's no other way to, there's no other way to say it but just to say it like how it's supposed to be said. It's like, it's not okay, because what you're doing is you're really killing yourself. That's what you're really doing.
Amen to that. IAm MIE is my guest on Nexxlegacy Radio. You can go ahead and hit her up on Instagram now. Make sure you hit her up on Instagram now, not now, right now. You can hit her up at IAm MIE, MIE. I am Brandon here on Nexxlegacy. And before we kind of talk about something else, I know Zaywoh has a Instagram, ZAYWOAH. What can we as media folks do? WOAH. ZAYWOAH, right?
No,
got it?
WOA.
There you go. What can we do? What can we do to be able to, continue his legacy and, help his mom, help his family, just kind of keep the memory alive? Like, what do you think we can all do? And I'm just asking this off the top of my head, and I know there's so much more we could dive into when it comes to this, but what can we do to help with his legacy?
Wow. What you guys can do, I mean, you can hashtag justice for Zaywoh. You can pretty much, inbox me. And we're putting together some things. We're talking about doing a documentary on his life. So, definitely we'll need, support for that. And keep us in prayer. Just keep our family in prayer right now. The trial's going to start in, maybe 6 weeks. We know who did it.
Yeah.
So, the trial's going to be starting soon, so I can't really go into details about it. But it's a deep story, and it's really tragic, So
on behalf of Nexxlegacy, we, whatever we could do, and you and I will continue our dialogue even off air. So whatever we could do to enhance this, to grow his legacy, to sustain his legacy is something that I know,
yes.
We can continue to do, and others. You know what I'm saying? People start hearing the story or start hearing your story and follow suit. I feel like that's going to be important for everyone to pay attention. So everyone that's out there listening live, because we still do live radio just like old school, and people that will be downloading this later via podcast, make sure y'all go ahead and hit up the powers that be. But start with this young lady right here at, IAm MIE, the number one first, IAm MIE, MIE on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? And just support, share your stories, show your enthusiasm about helping others. It doesn't have to be people that you know. You can help strangers. Do what you do on that level, and definitely be a part of something that's bigger than who you are and what you're all about. And let me ask you this, because I've known you for a handful of years, right? And I've seen your work, heard your work, videos, all that stuff. And I got to tell you, and I know we're going to start talking about this now, because I feel like aside from the work that you did with the 5-footers and stuff like that, you as a solo person, I'm starting to really understand, because I'm hearing different things as far as your creative talents and how different you sound. And when I say different, I'm talking about, I know the music that you have coming up soon, and your own, you're in your own lane when it comes to your musical talent. So my question to you is, has this always been a part of you, or is this something that you started creating as you dive deeper into your musical soul?
You know what? It's always been me. I've always been marching to the beat of my own drum. It's always been me. But now, I just got deeper into self and, what I want to bring to the table and what I envision. I am a deep person, and I am a deep thinker. So I am a person that, reads a lot. I'm always watching documentaries. And I'm a spiritual person as well. And so once you start growing, when you first come into this business, you pretty much, well, for me, I'm going to speak for myself. It's pretty much you're doing what everybody else is doing until you start to grow into your own. But I went through a lot of changes, because when I first started rapping, I was more political anyways. But then once you start getting management and you start getting deals and it starts going to that next level, it's oh, you need to do more party songs. Oh, you need to do more of this. And then you just find yourself changing and doing everything that everybody else wants you to do. And
right.
Then you start seeing, but I'm not happy. And this is not who I really am. And if I can't be who I really am, then why am I even doing this? So then I went through that period, you know what, this music business is crazy, and da-da-da-da. I had some success, wrote on Heard It All Before for Sunshine Anderson, and that did its thing, and it wasn't even rap, it was R&B. And I was just wow, but the more you get, the closer you get to it, and then the more you learn and the more you see behind the scenes, and then when my favorite artists are being shot and killed, and it's over music and over dumbness, it made me unattracted to it. What is this? This shit is, I'm sorry, but it's wicked.
Yeah.
It's so how do you exist in this and still keep your essence of who you are and not, fall into the evil side of the music industry? I just got to keep it 100. You know what I'm saying?
How because I mean, like I said, I'm fan of your music. You know what I'm saying? We go way back. I want people to what I'm saying, just absorb everything that we talk about, because I mean it's all organic. Because I've seen your evolution, and just kind of like you went from the caterpillar to the butterfly. I feel like in a span of a handful of years, and you said it's always been a part of you. And just what made you decide to, like, despite it all, because the industry could be so cutthroat, and you've been a part of every single thing that's been a part of the business. What decides you, what, I'm going to be a butterfly, and I can give a shit what people say?
You know what? Because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, it's like, if I don't feel happy with what I'm doing, it doesn't matter what dollar is attached to it. It doesn't matter. Do I want to leave behind like something that was meaningful and that was powerful, or do I want to? Maybe I made a lot of money, but all I left, was some bullshit behind. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That, I mean, over the airwaves. Like, this is what I'm telling people. This is what I want. When I'm gone, this is how I want my voice to carry out through the universe. How do I want my voice to be carried out through this planet after I'm gone? So that is what sparked it, because it's like, okay, everybody's doing this. I don't want to follow what everybody's doing. I don't like following the crowd.
Right.
I'd rather be doing this, because, like, as we know, like, on this planet, you don't know when it's your time. Period. It could be 18, it could be 28, it could be 38, 48, 58, 108. It could be 8 months, it could be 8 weeks, it could be 8 days old. It does, you know what I'm saying? But just to have the privilege to still be here and still be able to do what I do, it has to be something meaningful now. It hit me, and it hits everybody different. But for me, my purpose is different. My purpose is bigger. I can't do what everybody else is doing. I'm not supposed to do what everybody else does. Every time I try to do what everybody else does, it doesn't work for me. But when I do what I'm supposed to be doing, and when I'm writing from that place of honesty from where I'm at, that's what works for me. That's where my money gets made.
There you go. I Am MIE on Nexxlegacy Radio. I am branded. Listen, is it cool to run a track? Women run it. Come back, ask you about future projects and something else regarding the industry that I want to ask you. I'm not going to throw it out there now, but people want to know in the chat room when is this project going to come out? But we gonna talk to you about that after we run this. You cool with it? Ready to roll with another segment?
Yeah, let's get it.
Nexxlegacy Radio. I am Brandon in the building. I Am MIE is in the house as well. Make sure you follow her on Instagram, IG, popping right now. The number 1, IAm MIE. And make sure you go ahead and follow Instagram. Pay that respects. Zaywoh, ZAYWOAH. I am Brandon in the building. Look, girl, you got that fan base still popping. A lot of people just nostalgia listening to you talk. A lot of people want to know what's up with the projects, what's going on as far as just anything organized that you got going on, as far as releases, all that good stuff. So talk to your fan base. What you got rocking?
Okay, awesome. I have a couple of videos up on YouTube right now. That's going to be off the new project that I'm currently working on called Social Silence. It's been taking me a while to do this because I'm just like, I have to be inspired. I'm not just, it's different. It hits different with me now. You know what I mean? Like, I like you said, the caterpillar to the butterfly. I'm taking my time and working, but I do have a couple of videos up. I also make beats too, so I've been working on some stuff that I've been producing myself. So I definitely can't wait to, get everything mixed and mastered and pick out the right records to put out. I think outside of the box a lot. So, like I said, when everybody's going left, I tend to want to go right. I have a Moscato that I dropped, so been working on that. It tastes really good. It's called Nexxlegacy. I don't know if it's going to change, but that's what it's called right now. Yeah, I'm just been collecting a lot of different beats from a lot of different producers. And, yeah, that song you just heard, Women Run It. The EP is actually up on YouTube free. It's a women's empowerment EP, so you can find that by typing in Galaxy Diggs, because that's like my alter ego, Galaxy Diggs.
All right.
GALEXZDIGGZ. So it's a whole project up right now, and it's free, and you can get it on YouTube.
Got you. So, okay, I got you, and we'll make sure we provide that links and go super hard on promoting all the stuff that you give out for free as well. And Naked Moscato, I mean, do you got to be naked to drink it, or is it just
better than
is it just
peace in the world, you know what I'm saying? So it's like all love and peace.
I got you.
Stop their nonsense, you know. It's like, you know, laugh. Like, what happens to that? Like, you know, I wish we could get back to that, where people just, if they had a disagreement, maybe they could fight, but the next day people get to eat their cereal and live their lives and move forward. Not just, you know, not the way that it's going now. It's not okay.
Amen to that. The days of just, you know, how young men used to be when I grew up, you know what I'm saying? You got beat down, you know what I'm saying? You get up, you fight another day, you put on the gloves to do it, or we just friends the next day. You know what I mean? You know how the days used to go. You used to beef with your friend or the neighborhood friend or the neighborhood whoever. Y'all fight, either you win or lose. Y'all might be partners right afterwards. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I know how you feel. I miss those days because it, you know, life I feel like meant more, and it felt like it was valued more, I should say. You know what I mean? So it's different now. It's different.
Yeah,
let me ask you this. Yeah, let me ask you this. IAm MIE is my guest on Nexxlegacy Radio. I am branded, and how have, you know, ever since pandemic hit, you know, late February, March of this year, it's been, you know, everything is just kind of shut down. A lot of things that we were used to being able to do, we can't do, or we can do, but we got to do it on a different kind of level. How has that impacted you personally, and how has it impacted you on a business side as far as just, you know, navigating through your days? Because, you know, you told me something important. You got to be motivated on this music entertainment stuff. So how has the pandemic changed you in that way?
I mean, it definitely has made me realize the fragility of the industry. I mean, if you can't move around and get outside, like you can't do shows, you can't travel. I was planning on doing some traveling, so I was actually planning on going out the country, to be honest, and spreading my wings over there. You know, I was planning to go to Italy and take a DJ class and go to, you know, hang out in Paris a little bit. I have a friend in Italy, and she's like, come out here, you know, I think you should try it. And I'm like, you know what, I should. And as soon as I was about to do it, it's like, boom, we're on lockdown. I'm like, well, I would have been stuck. I would have been stuck, or it would have made me whatever. I'm like, not on my turn. My turn. See, it's always got on my turn. When it's my time to do something, then they want to do some stuff like a pandemic. Like, wow.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
You know,
exactly.
I'm about to I'm out. I'm like,
listen, I had my passport. I had my passport ready to go too. Like, for real. Like, ready to do something different. Like, it would have been cool to do it, and then fucking pandemic just messed everything up.
You know what it made me realize, to be honest? Who's really my friend and who's really not. Like, who really checked on me and who really didn't. You know, and then it was just like a lot of drinking going on at first. And I'm like, oh no, I can't do my whole, you know, this ain't like a party. Like, I felt like everybody was just treating it like a big party at first. And I'm like, that's the answer either. So And then it got serious because it's like, this is real. People are actually, I don't know what's out there. I don't know if it's real, if it's not, whatever, but people are dying. And a lot of people have died, so something's going on. It just made me want to, post my sister.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, because I know a couple of people that went through it. So has it hit family? No, but there's some people that I know that I'm cool with, that I'm close with, that had family members experience that or whatever. And a friend of mine from a distance, she dealt with it. And at the end of the day, it's. I mean, I don't think it's a game people playing because there's so many lives that's being not just lost, but there's a lot of businesses that's just going down under. Like, there's a lot of small businesses that a lot of people don't really get. Like, all the big corporations are going to survive because they got that influx of cash. But these smaller businesses, and let's just throw it out there, a lot of the smaller businesses, black owned, are suffering, and they're going to wind up losing their businesses at the end of the day based on all this. So if people are thinking that this shit is, fake, I don't think so.
Right.
Not me. You know what I mean?
That part, that is so true. And a lot of it, I believe, is by design. I don't believe that it. I just believe that it's by design. So we have to be smarter, and we have to really up, and we really have to mentally get ourselves back on track. Period. Like, we gotta change our mindset, and the mindset that's currently being promoted to us is self-destruction. It is overconsumption, hyper-consumerism, and if you're not driving this car, if you don't have on these shoes, if you don't have this bag, if you don't have these watches and these chains, it's like our minds are messed up, and that stuff ain't nothing. No, what we need is farms. We need land to be able to. I can't eat a Rolex. I cannot eat a Ferrari. Like what do we really own? What do we really own? And it's just like, everybody wants to stunt. Oh, I'm better than you. I'm better than that. No, because if one person is doing bad, we all doing bad. Literally, like that's just. But people don't get it that way. People don't get it that way because they just look at it. Oh, I'm lit, and it's just like, okay, but when you drive down the street and you see somebody of your same culture, they're sleeping outside, and they are just out there, like, with no food, and they, you can see that they look messed up. It's like, and we just drive by like, oh, well, it's not me, but it's like, how did we become so cold? How did we become so cold?
Amen to that. Amen to that.
It's like
that Gucci belt is not going to put my daughter through college, and you know what I mean. And that's as real as it's going to get when it comes to that, because people still put having things versus, like you said earlier, about not just property, deeper than that, generational wealth. I know that's something that we all aspire to want to do, but there's different ways to do it than just trying to buy a Gucci belt or what I mean, like the latest fashion to keep up with all these other people, because it's deeper than that. That's why, and you know it as well too, the people that look the brokest got the money and they got the generational wealth because they don't go around flaunting all that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Most people in our community, when they pass away, there's no insurance. These other groups of people, they have. So when their people die, they leave money behind. So they're able to go start that startup business. They're able to go start their bakery or their coffee shop or whatever it is that they want to do. And, we don't leave nothing. Sometimes nothing's being left behind, but, maybe debt and a few little material things. And then the next thing you know, it's a GoFundMe and a fish fry going on.
There you go. So there you go.
And then it's
and you know what? IAm MIE is my guest on Nexxlegacy, and you know what? That's the thing. Like you and I see the same thing. So our vision is the same. Anytime that you start seeing people with GoFundMes, you start thinking deeper than that. This could have been avoided. They didn't have to do GoFundMes if they would have had XYZ straight. You know what I mean? If they would have had this.
Balling. So what happened? Dude was balling. He was just on the rollies and in the Phantom and, with the red bottoms on and multiple chicks and, like, what happened? So it's just like we got to really retrain our brain. Like, we worship the wrong things. And it's just like, you know, you can buy a Gucci belt, but you don't have no life insurance. It's just backwards.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying?
You got that Gucci belt, but your kids need, you know what I'm saying, they need that money for later in life, or, you know what I'm saying, for school. You need that college fund, you need that trust, you need that you know, something that you got to think past the next day. Like, you know what I'm saying, you got to look years on years ahead of time to figure out what you want to do and how you want to handle it, especially when you have kids, or even deeper than that, even if you don't have kids, you know what I'm saying, what can I leave behind that's not laced with just money? You know what I mean? Because you and I can go burn $1 million right now, and it's not going to matter if we put it on the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be something stronger than that, long lasting, that you can remember. And I'm gonna say this before we play this track, "Falling," that I Islands coming out soon. Not just Naked Moscato coming out, not just people are starting to follow you and pay attention to more about what you are and what you're about. Still, I like the way that you have become this butterfly that people are really paying attention to, and I definitely appreciate that. So when we come back, I want to ask you a couple more questions before we let you go about not just what you have as far as the plan of social silence, but also the state of hip-hop and the culture and what we can be able to do to kind of spread some love and some, you know what I'm saying, some different kind of information over than, you know, how much money you're making. So we're going to run this track. Come right back with IAm MIE, Nexxlegacy Radio. I'm Branded in the building with my guests. IAm MIE in the house tonight. Make sure you go ahead and follow her on Instagram at the number 1, IAm MIE, MIE. And definitely in honor of Zawo, make sure you go ahead and hit up the Instagram, ZAYWOAH. And, you know what I'm saying, you got a lot of hip-hop roots. A lot of people in the chat rooms are reminiscing, not just the work you did with the 5-footers, but just in general. And I said hip-hop as far as the culture. I should probably ask you this question instead of just lumping hip-hop in this category. But music in itself, you know, you and I know, it's a new decade, 2020. It's changed over the last 25, 30 years or whatever. So my question to you is since it's changed this way, and you know, it's not the, and I hate saying this because it's not the days of being on a record label meant something. Being an artist on a record label, having that team behind you meant something. Having that artistry, you know what I'm saying, dealt with, distributed differently meant something. I know everything is internet based now, so how are you navigating through the changes? Because you and I, we come from that same cloth. We come from that same era that we will never forget how it felt to listen to your music on the radio. Now a lot of people take it for granted. You know what I mean?
That's
so
true.
how are you navigating through these changes?
I mean, basically you have to. It's like either you do or you don't, you know, and it's just something that has to be done. At first it was like annoying, but now it's like, you know, to be honest, it's simpler, it's easier. I think it's really cost effective in the way you do it, but you still got to have marketing and advertising. That's the thing. You can put out music every day. Like, I have the ability to put out a song every day if I wanted to just put my stuff out. But it's like, who's going to actually hear it and see it? So it's like you still got to have advertising dollars as well. But, I mean, you got to be on the computer all the time. So it's easier for people who don't got to pay bills and they might live at home with their parents. They can be, you know, they can do that all day. But when you got to make everything work, you know, you don't have time to. I know I don't be having time to just be constantly on my computer.
You ain't living on your computer all day, every day? That's not how you live your life, right?
A lot of times, no, not at all. And then a lot of times I find social media to be toxic. So I literally have to, like, step away from it a little bit because, you know, it just be a lot of nonsense and drama that's going on. You know, I just want my music to stand for something at this point. I want my project to be meaningful. Like, I want to help save lives in the best way that I can. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I just feel like, you know, when you do music, when you're a true artist, your artistry should mean something. What makes you different than someone else? We already have Nicki Minaj. We already have Cardi B. We already have Megan Thee Stallion. We don't need 20 more of them. You know what I
There
mean?
you go.
Like, there's more images. You know what I'm saying? It's just like every girl is not a stripper. We have attorneys. We have doctors. We have lawyers. We have scientists. We have accountants. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not just one type of woman out here.
Remember the days where you had that selection? If you wanted MC Light, if you wanted Latifah, if you wanted Yo-Yo, if you wanted the 5-footers, if you wanted Lady of Rage, if you wanted, you know what I mean? We had so many different, you know what I'm saying, layers to hip-hop culture. And I don't know about you, but it seemed like it's kind of narrowed down to like a chosen couple, maybe a chosen few in a sense where that's all certain people pay attention to.
Yeah, like right now it's just dominated by all the, you know, the female rapper being over-sexualized and, you know, being a thought. And that's what the female rapper has been reduced to being a hoe on records. I mean, it's just real. I have to keep it 100. That's what it's been reduced to. So it's like, no, we're not just that. And it has to be balanced. Just like within the male rappers is balanced. Y'all got the thug and you got the lyrical. You got the J. Cole. You know what I mean? You got the young NBAs, but you still got the J. Cole. You still got the Kendrick.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you still, you know, have other artists that's on some Tyler, the Creator. You know, you got that. Like, so you still got the other avenues, you know what I mean? You're not just being fed Future all day. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's like,
and I think it's important. It's important for us to.
Right.
No, I was just gonna say it's just important for, you know what I'm saying, everybody out there to know. It's just, you know what I'm saying, you got to make room for these women artists that's out there getting it in, like you said earlier, that's not a stripper, that's not having stripper records, that's doing something on a musical level that you can still pay attention to, groove with, tune into, and just be like, you know what, there's always a different flavor. Because you know how people would say, you know what I'm saying, she's a lady in the streets but a freak in the sheets or whatever. Like,
right.
There's different layers to how women work, men too for that matter. So people should pay attention to more, and I think we need to make sure that, you know, we support our women, you know what I'm saying, that has different avenues to be able to get in that lane. And I'm just glad that, you know what I'm saying, you never strayed away from who you were as a person, even as part of the 5-footers too. You still stayed, you know what I'm saying, you still evolved into the person that you are right now, which I appreciate.
Right, most definitely. You know what? If you're not being yourself, you're selling not only yourself short, but you're selling the world short, because the world may need to see that real you, not that fake somebody else that you're being. That's not really helping anybody. And it's like I said, you're doing yourself a disservice, and you're doing the world a disservice. Be your authentic self. Because I'd rather be hated for who I am than loved for who I'm not. And that's just real. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it's a bad thing what these other girls are doing. Make your money. But what I'm saying is everybody is not going to be that. Every female rapper does not have to be that. So these labels and these investors, they need to stop it. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm sure their daughters ain't going to be out there with their tongue out every 5 minutes, half naked and saying some crap that's just, come on, yo. You know it's ridiculous.
Exploitation at its finest too. You know how it is. Those investors, let me go ahead and take advantage of these, you know, X-rated artists doing damn well. Their daughters is not going to be exactly what they're pushing that line with. So you're absolutely right.
That's what the girls are going to be exposed to. Like actually going out here and doing this stuff. You know, actually going out here and trying to do stuff, and then in the process, you know, that's. You know, our women are being, first of all, nobody even really talking about this. Our women are being kidnapped, taken out the country, like being put into real sexual slavery. This stuff is real. So it's like, and then, you know, the guys in their mind, sometimes they might think like all women are like that. So then now they're approaching women in a derogatory manner, and it's just bad for everybody because it's poisoning our youth. Come on, y'all, let's be 100 about it. It's like, sales, okay, great, but at what point do we have any morals anymore? Like, damn, like, what happened? It's just like money became our God, and that's why all this is happening? I guess so.
Yep.
It's like at some point,
human trafficking is still a real thing. It's still a thing that people are not putting out there. It's a real thing. If you go, I guarantee you, if you go to any city, any state right now, from all the people out there in the United States, all over, even not even in the United States, these people are being moved to out of countries. So I guarantee you, you go somewhere, you get some real information. There's a lot of people missing, a lot of our people missing, but there's a lot of people missing. Human trafficking is real in every city, every state, guaranteed, and people not talking about it. You are absolutely right.
A lot of our young girls are missing, and nobody knows where they're at. How do you hide a whole human and not multiple of them? Like, we have to care more about our community. We want other people to care about our community. Like, Ice Cube has this contract with Black America. Black America needs a contract with itself first before we can get a contract with the whole America.
Amen.
That's
Amen.
We need to contract up with how we treat one another. It matters. These little kids are watching this stuff. I see on my timeline all the time with their tongue out. You are a little girl. Your tongue should not even be out in that manner. It is a sexual connotation to it, and it's not okay. And I see this happening with my own nieces and nephews, and it's like, I'm not trying to be strict, but I definitely don't like it. But when this is being plastered, this is what they're going to follow. And unfortunately, the positive female rappers and the positive male rappers, they don't get the light, they don't get the money, they don't get the check that the ones who are willing to sell the junk food, to our people, they don't get the same check. And I guess that's what makes people do it. But for me, it's deeper than a check, and it's bigger than a check. And that's what everybody's probably, I'm chasing the bag. What bag are you chasing?
Right.
What bag are you chasing? A body bag? What actual bag are you chasing? So it's just like, I don't expect.
Would you agree?
I don't expect like how I think.
Would you agree that before we have a seat at the table, and I'm talking about we as black folks, we should probably organize before we even present something that is worth putting or bringing a seat at the table? I feel like as blacks, we are so unorganized when it comes to certain things, when it comes to either our own evolution and our growth, because everybody's kind of reaching for everything, right? We want a little piece of every piece of that pie, but I feel like until we become more organized in what we want and how we want it and how long we want it, I'll hold off on that seat at the table until we get better organized. I'm talking about, there's so many things that black men need. There's so many things that black women need. There's so many things that our kids need that we need every single person at the table. Homeless, you goddamn right. There's so many of us and so many different layers of us and so many different of ages of who we are and what we want to be. We can't have a seat at the table right now because we got to get our shit together and we got to talk to each other before we're able to be able to present something, period. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. Most definitely, because that whole, the worst thing I think kind of happened was I'm a boss mentality. Everybody has that I'm a boss. It's like, but wait a minute. Okay, being a boss is more than just saying it out your mouth and standing up on top of a couch or with a bottle in your hand talking about I'm a boss. It's much bigger than that. And all that ego, I think a lot of the problem is a lot of ego, a lot of I got to run it or, just a competition thing instead of everybody really, really coming together to really fix and solve a lot of the problems that we're having. I personally don't want to see young girls falling down a bad path and, end up just out here doing all kinds of craziness for material things, because those, once you find out those material things ain't even worth it, and you really begin to realize like what life is really about, which is family, love, You know what I mean? Like, those are the things that really matter at the end of the day is love and family. We need more love and less hate because everybody's going through stuff. And everybody has hidden struggles and pains that you don't even know about. But we became so judgmental. All these reality shows showing women, us black women fighting each other. You know what I mean? Like, making us look like we just have no self-control. We have to hate on each other and we have to outdo each other to get on. It's not okay. Like, I'm sick of it. Personally, it's like, no, like, that's not who we are, you know? And it's just like, when I see these young girls emulating that, like, there's no respect. Just everybody became just so disrespectful. And if somebody has to say something, I don't really care, like, to be popular or to be famous. If I was chasing that, I would have been on one of these shows. I mean, I know everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I wanted to really be on that, like, I could be on that. But I don't just think about myself. Like, maybe at one point, maybe I was like that, but now I don't just think about myself anymore. And I think about how would I want if I feel like my auntie would be looking at me like, oh, my God, or my nieces and nephews, I'm projecting an image that would make them blush. I just don't want to do that. You know what I mean? And there's no dollar amount for it. So I'm just on some other. I think
a lot of people, and what you said is so on point because you look at like reality shows as super trash, right? So a lot of people that's looking at super trash shows is going to bring that super trash mentality into their relationships, into their family, stuff like that. Some people, I'm not saying all, but some people take that, you know what I'm saying, and implement that into their life, which is really weird in cases like that. But also, you got to have a humble gene, and I know this. I'm not perfect. I'm far from it. I have flaws. I got hella flaws. But you know what? I got effort though. I guarantee you, I'm gonna acknowledge my downside, but I guarantee you, I'm gonna work on it so I can be able to flip that eventually. And a lot of people, men and women, run into that problem of exactly that. They know they got a flaw, but they don't want to acknowledge it because they feel like, you know what I'm saying, I don't want to be humble. I'm tough, you know what I mean? And that's not how you're going to advance or grow in life if you don't do that.
That is so true. As long as you continuously come from a place of ego, arrogance, jealousy, envy, manipulation, greed, none of those things are good. And you may be winning, you know, for the long run, but when you go and look in your mirror and when everyone's gone and the party's over, you know what you don't feel happy. That's why you see a lot of people killing themselves, a lot of suicides, and you know, like a lot of industry, people are really depressed.
Yep.
And that's where all drugs and alcohol come in because it's like all the stuff that you do or got to go through is so much pain. You got to numb yourself out to just even deal with reality, to just even deal with the real world. I just personally don't want to lose myself for fame. I don't want to lose myself. If it's gonna come down between me and the music industry and me and my mental health and me being well, I'm gonna choose me and my mental health and me being well over fame or money because you're not taking none of it with you. So that's my approach to it. I see things differently. I understand. I'm not a young artist, so I understand it's levels to the stuff. People have to grow. They have to go through their personal experiences. But if you have someone that's telling you, that's been there, that's saying, hey, you know what I mean, look out for this, watch out for that. Because, you know, I got some of my music is definitely street and definitely, you know what I mean, like I'm about that light. You feel me? That part of me do exist. But now this other side exists as well. It's like some people don't get to that part of their evolution. Like that's all you got to hear was their dark side. They didn't get to bring their light side, show the world their light side. Right. I'm definitely happy that I'm my dark side, and I'm gonna be, or I am able to now show you the side of light. You know what I mean? And like I said, I have to turn my pain into purpose. So that's what I'm painting in my music now. That's what I'm.
And that's what, and that's what we can all see, from people that have known you, seen your, heard your work, know who you are, know what you about. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of love in the chat room that people are getting, throughout the United States. A lot of love out there. People are just kind of like, this is nostalgia. People need to hear this more, stuff like that. It's a lot of love being shown, but also, that's why I'm directing everybody that's hitting this young lady up via chat room right now, talking about how, dope she is. Follow her on Instagram right now at the number 1, IAm MIE, IAM MIE, and make sure you go ahead and pay attention to the Instagram of a great one, the late Zaywoh, ZAYWOAH as well. Continue that legacy. Make sure you hashtag any and everything when it comes to these two people, because I'm telling you now, we need all the support, the love, the building of legacies that we can get. And before I let you go, I want to say this to you, because I want you to have the floor to be able to talk to, the fan base that and, people that's just now getting to know you and stuff like that too. But I want to tell you that, like I said, you people out there, they've heard me say it, this woman's been in my stratosphere since, 2011, 2012. But at the same time, I am more proud of you today than I was back then, because of what you're trying to do with yourself right at this moment. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I can be any more proud of you than I am now, based on that caterpillar to butterfly mentality that I'm gonna still keep in when it comes to you, because I always got a feel for you. I think as far as and I'm not and I'm not saying this because you're listening or you're on right now. Like, you was always my favorite, because it was always something about how you talked and how you talked to me and how you talked to people that always got me. And I'm always gonna never ever forget that, and I'm always gonna remember that. And that's why I wanted to tell you out there how much I love your evolution, because not only do I see it, I feel it. But I want you to talk to your fan base as far as the people out there, not just telling them where to follow you and all that stuff, but all these people out here love you, which is a good look. And that's the love. I mean, it's live radio. I mean, we don't do like certain podcasts like certain other people. We live radio. We play music. We do all that stuff we used to do like we did back in the 90s. So just saying.
Right.
You're loved.
Okay. Well, you know what? Thank you. You guys are making my day. This is what motivates me. This is what inspires me. These moments right here are the moments that basically make me keep going. Because sometimes, I'm a human. I have my doubts and my reservations. I feel like, what am I doing? Why am I still doing this? Am I crazy? And then stuff like this happens to let me know, like, no, you are doing the right thing. Keep going down your path. Even with recently losing my nephew, like, I didn't think I was going to be able to ever smile again after that, because he was like my heart. And I was like, I know you're not supposed to have a favorite, but yes, that was like my favorite. He was like a son to me. And so I knew that he was going to be successful and very popular, and the very thing that I was afraid of happening to him actually happened. So that even messed me up even more, because I had seen things, because I already seen who he was, and I knew what comes with that. And he wouldn't understand me sometimes when I would be trying to deposit certain things into him. He was like, I see you straight. But he didn't realize, like, listen, I'm in this, and I've been in this thing, and I know how it works. You know what I mean? Like, I'm here. My job is to protect you from, you know what I mean, like, the wicked people. Because, I mean, at this point, I feel like it's forces out here. It's good and evil. Either you're on the good side or you're on the bad side. That's just bottom line. You know what I mean? Like, you got to choose. But to the people out there that support me, I thank you so much. I need all y'all support. I've been putting out music, and it's crazy. Like, when you're doing positive music, it's like you just see, like, it doesn't get the attention that if I was to take off my clothes and twerk on my page, I'd probably have way more followers. But that's not what I want to do, and that's not what I want to project to the world, because I know that these little girls that are coming after me, they're watching, and it matters to me how I influence them. Hopefully, this thing blows over where I can start having some events and you guys can come out and do wine tasting and I can perform and I can meet you guys personally and who knows what we can build on, because you never know who you're going to meet, who you may work on future projects with, or what kind of movement we can stop in all of our communities to start spreading some awareness to these kids that gun violence is not okay. And we want y'all to live. I want y'all to live. I want young people to live a full life. You should be able to live a full life and travel and have children, get married, or if you don't want to get married, have a business and be an amazing person and get that chance. And I feel like that chance is just being taken away from our young people way too early. Just even out here, and another rapper named Mae West, I don't know her, but her little cousins were killed a couple of days ago in Compton in their car driving down the street, and they were murdered. And I believe they played football, and they were good kids. Like, my nephew was a good kid, you know what I mean? And then now their life was cut short, and 2 families are hurt, and these kids are gone. Like, it's just an epidemic. It's like a pandemic inside of a pandemic. How do you fit that in? So,
and people don't understand. People don't understand that it's chaotic right now, and a lot of people talking about campaigning, elections, pandemic, stuff like that. The election, I always say, is like the main event, but you got to watch those undercards too, though, because all those undercards is your city streets and how it's how the world is being affected by a lot of the violence that's going on in the world today. Who's sparking it, and not only that, who's accountable at the end of the day. And a lot of it is us as black folks. Like, we gotta figure out a way to resolve our problems without causing more problems. And to me, that's going to be the biggest test and challenge too, right?
Yeah. You know what? You are absolutely right. You just said something that was so profound. We have to find a way to resolve our problems without causing more problems. That is so real. That's so real. I believe that we've been conditioned and mind manipulated into a lot of this behavior that's going on. It's almost like people are in a trance, like they're under some type of hypnosis. And I know for a fact that it does come through the screen, and it does come through the music, and it does come through the video games. And, somebody can argue me down and debate with me all they want, but I'm telling you, I know that that's where it's coming from. I know that's where it's coming from because people are programmed. It gets really deep, but we're going to keep it, fun, lighthearted as we can. But the world is in a deep situation right now, and that's just the bottom line. So it's going to get right now because playtime is kind of like over. To be honest, we done played, and look where that got us. Like super behind. You know what I mean? Like,
and I feel like in my lifetime, your lifetime, you and I are at the stage and age in life where we want the last half of our lives to be the best, but we also want to make sure that we show this next generation that you can be able to move on and push your agenda for the next generation. I mean, I just need people to care about people at the end of the day. Egos aside, you know what I'm saying, acknowledge your flaws, and just, step aside from all the bullshit and just be real with each other. You be real with each other, you know what I'm saying? You expose yourself to somebody, you know what I'm saying? And that might be a risk in your mind, but there's going to be a lot of people who's going to really take this on. And it's just like I said, you know what I'm saying? You are, no pressure, you are the catalyst to a lot of, positivity and realness that I feel like a lot of people need, not just in this business, but just in life in general. You know what I mean? So, I got to give you a lot of credit where credit's due.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be on my gram, and I'm noticing a lot of little artists, like, especially it's a few young ladies that I'm looking at, that's doing their thing, and they're positive, and they're dope, and they got bars. So I just want to be that person that can be the bridge to, be that person that sparks a movement to where they can get the life that they deserve as well. So, you know what I mean? That's how I feel about that. And I think about our youth a lot. And so, even before my nephew, I've always had a big spot in my heart for the youth. But now more than ever, it's like I have to fight for that. Because his life does mean and it will be justice for Zawo. And he will get his dream, and he will get to go. Still, his name will be heard throughout the world, and people will know who he is and his gifts and talents. And may this be a cautionary tale for other young people that looked up to him and maybe that didn't even know him, but once they get to know who he is and once they see his story, may they go down a different path. Because I know for a fact that, a lot of our kids are just trying to keep up with what they see in front of them. And we have to change the narrative. And only we can do that. We have
Amen to that, and we will. And we will. And I feel like this is a step in the right direction, and there is more like-minded people like you and I, so we just got to make sure that we get them all together so we can all be able to have that one voice, you know what I mean? So, because at the end of the day, and you know this and I know this as well, we can't do it all by ourselves. We can't. We have to make sure that we have other people who are pretty much rocking the same agenda is on that same path too. You know what I'm saying? So we got this. We're gonna die trying because that's what we do. Yep.
And that's all I'm concerned about is the like-minded people. Everything else, I don't even care about it. I really don't. You know what I mean? Because that's what matters. Because to me, it's like what makes me sleep better at night is knowing that I did my part in this race to try to make a difference. To make a difference, I'm gonna try out of it, and that's it. It matters to me.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
Okay. I'm tired of them being hurt. I'm tired of them, going through bad things, people doing crazy things to children. Like, I just can't even wrap my head around it. Like, those are the innocent. They need to be protected. And that's just the bottom line. And our women as well. There's a lot of hurt and pain in our community, and that needs to heal.
Exactly. I want everybody to make sure you go ahead and hit this young lady up on Instagram, the number 1, IAm MIE, IAM MIE. This is Nexxlegacy Radio. I am Brandon in the building, and I appreciate you, honey. I appreciate you hanging out with me. People that's going to run this back, you know what I'm saying, listen to it via podcast. People listen to it a little later. They're going to get it, but, I mean, already, like I said, you got so many people in chat rooms in general who's listening, and it's all positive. Nothing on the negative side, all just like, you know what, we need this, we got to have this. Where she's been like, people are thinking you've been gone. No, you've been here. So follow this woman. Make sure you get reacquainted to this young lady because she may be the same, but she's different too. So, and when I say that, you'll know because you're just going to watch the growth. And again, as we close, like I said, I am so proud of you, and I will continue to push your line, and I will continue to support you unconditionally because, you know what I'm saying, not just as a media dude, but just in life in general because, we got to help each other out at the end of the day, and at the same time, I always felt like, this was one path that I know was destined to evolve. So with that being said, damn, I love you. I'm just glad that you got everything in front of you, and you're going to get all the support you deserve because it's your time. It really is, and I definitely appreciate you, bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and to everybody that joined us tonight, thank you so much. Blessings to you all. May all your dreams come true, and I look forward to seeing y'all soon someday.
All right. That is my girl, and just because the people in the chat rooms, and we were talking about like these thousands of people and emails being sent, they want to hear Run It again. I'll give it to you. IAm MIE. I love you, baby. Keep being you.
All right.
Are you ready for Nexxlegacy?
Are you ready for Nexxlegacy?
Are you ready for Nexxlegacy?